soul it is. Forgive me, please. Please forgive me. But we're going to continue the music. Here is now the Four Tops. This one is called All in the Game. Okay, we can go back. You're all ready and you've got your thoughts, okay?
Yes, sir.
It's who you are. Give us a little background on yourself.
Yes, sir.
What are the goals of your organization? What are some of the myths that surrounds this? How you have to debunk that sort of thing that's going on?
Yeah.
And then talk about the Bahamas and what are and how a lot of people don't know what a rich
Oh man.
area this is for athletic achievement,
Yeah.
opportunities in the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, right after the song, then we go live.
God, thank you, bless us today. Give us strength, protect us, guide us. Your best. We ask to be God. Oracles for that, to bring good content and quality areas to the people. It's got to be prayed, man. Bless our host, by the way.
Yeah, that's our hope. Yeah, it's always our hope.
Bless our host. Amen.
Just to be the best we can be.
That's what we're trying to be.
You do look like a Thompson. But tell us about yourself. What are you doing? What's happening?
So my name is Sharon Kennedy. I am a Thompson man, though. I am from the Current Island, Elutra. We claim for me, beautiful Elutra. But I go by Tony Bahama, which is a moniker given to me amongst when I was coaching coaching and scouting in the United States. You know, Tony, middle name, and then short. You know, where you're from, the Bahamas.
Yeah.
As far as what we're doing here, we've had a small scouting and marketing sports agency, which has grown to start initially in the Bahamas, just featuring in local gyms, local environments about the exploits of the great amount of talent that comes from the Caribbean and necessarily specifically the Bahamas. But it has grown and branched out to that. Our company was started as the All Bahamian Brand, which still exists, but it's grown to AB2C, broadcasting, scouting, and marketing. Yeah.
Okay. That is wonderful. And how long have you been doing this?
We've been doing it for at least 15 years officially, but pretty much 20 years.
Yeah?
20 years or so.
Terrific, terrific. Well, I'm sure you had a lot of successes. I want to hear about that. But what are the goals of your organization?
The goals of our organization, of course, is firstly awareness. Our people, Bahamian people, Caribbean people in general, don't seem to understand the great mountain of potential talent that's both here and in the Caribbean. We have to appreciate the capabilities that God has blessed us with, and then of course marketing that properly to the United States and the global world actually. So that's one part of our goal, and then secondly, just to keep a quick track of records. There's a conversation, a running conversation in a lot of different circles about who was better, who did what. There's not a lot of records. About sports that's publicly known. We do hold an archive. We do produce publications so people can at least look and see. Well, hey, this person did X, Y, Z in this year. And there's always going to be opinions. Everybody's entitled to that.
Oh, sports and how you like it. Very subjective sort of opinion.
Of course.
Yeah,
But at least we have a record to kind of compare, a starting point. And that's what our goal is. Also, the third thing is to kind of dispel some of the myths, some of the things that are, just floating around, so that everybody has the best possible, clairvoyance on sports in the Bahamas and in the Caribbean.
But when I was growing up, baseball was a thing, and Andre Rogers had just gone in, and I suppose if you're from Nassau Street, from where I grew up, everybody wanted to be a baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
And it also became apparent that the Caribbean, Honduras,
Oh yeah.
Cuba, Puerto Rico, those, even Panama,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they're the ones that produce the great players. And we seem to have been slow in getting into that. I imagine that is an area of something that you focus on. And I say that only in reference to we now have a very prominent young
Yes.
Bahamian who's playing. How does baseball figure in, if you don't mind me asking
So
that?
so all sports figure into our brand and our model. The we to go into one without kind of, you don't want to leave out anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball goes hand in hand with track and field. Within our market research, so example, if they say someone's a 5-tool baseball player, one of those tools are running.
Mm-hmm.
One of those things are also hitting,
Yeah,
hand-eye
yeah,
coordination. It kind of ties in other sports. So
Mm-hmm.
they all come together properly. In baseball, they also come together in basketball. They come together in swimming. They also come together in football, whether it be American football or
Soccer.
soccer.
Mm-hmm.
So it all ties it together. But the key convening point is that the Bahamas and Caribbean have great talent,
Mm-hmm.
have great natural talent in all of those areas. As far as baseball, from what I know, and you know better than anybody, seeing Andre Rogers. I'm friends with the second generation of certain people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've friends with Saji, is what they call him, Mr.
Saji and I
his
play
son.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his
yeah,
son and
yeah.
those ones, and seeing that, and then like you said, the preeminent or prominent baseball player. It's just a throwback to the time. It's just a retake on, like they call it, a remix
Mm-hmm.
of what it is now. There's not been to this level from what we could see, but that personality, those capability, those talents, I'm assured there was somebody in yesteryear that's pulled forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's now embodying in the person of Josh Ronald
Yes.
Chisholm,
Yeah.
New York Yankees. So yeah, it just, that's what our publication is set out to do, to tie it all in, to kind of give hopefully the next generation, hopefully somebody coming, hey, look, well, hey, here's a starting point. Because a lot of Bahamians, a lot of Caribbean people in general don't know how close they are to the sweet spot.
Well, that is what I want to get into, because one of the things, there are a lot of parents who have children, and they have been told by people who are able to evaluate talent,
Yes.
that their children has it, so
Right.
to speak. Okay, how do those people? How can you help those people, parents particularly,
Yes.
who have that sort of aspiration for their child, and a program like we are doing here
Right.
at this moment? How can we get information to them, how they should structure themselves, the right questions
Correct.
to ask, and all that
Correct,
sort
correct.
of thing?
So,
Help us there.
correct. So our brand, as far as the scouting brand and the marketing and management brand, basically, of course, is identification. Like you said, the it. They're hearing from everybody that they have it.
Mhm.
It's actually a UN study. It's a global study. The Bahamas, based on per capita, is the most successful gold medal or Olympic country in the world. Over the history of the Olympics, no country with less than 400,000 has been able to get maybe 1 or 2 medals, and the Bahamas has what, 20?
And there was some country that just won their first medal in the
Right.
last Olympics,
And they're
they got billions.
right, they got billions.
Yeah.
So you are in the sweet spot, the Caribbean and the Bahamas specifically. So it's more than likely that you have talent in something. Now, for us, or what we do with parents and try to help them, one is just information. We try to dispel the myths. That's the first thing. One of those myths is not necessarily seeing it as a pastime. It's just something that you do. No, there's an opportunity here. It has to be presented properly and professionally. If it's your child or your family, you have to structure things properly. Talk to professionals like ourselves, and to present yourself properly, and that's the basis of what we do. For example, records was a big thing. Stats is a big thing. Databases is a big thing. gone are the days when people would look at sports and say, um, give me an estimation or assumption. People want numbers. People want records. If you want to see this in the U.S. in every sport, in England in every sport, in Europe and Australia, there's some form of publication that goes around faster than people's word of mouth can go, and that's really quick. But the source on it has numbers,
Prohibited.
right, right. But the source on it is has to be established, and that source for a long time has never been established here in the Bahamas or the Caribbean.
And the facts or data,
Correct.
and that is so important, because before they even have an audience with you, the people who are going to make the decision would want to look at some kind of data.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
To inform themselves of what am I doing here?
Why am I
Why
here?
am I here?
And we
Yeah.
create those things. So we help athletes, student athletes, and families, because it's a partnership. That's the first thing, that it's a partnership. It's not just a one-time thing. We also help in the development of individuals, proper communicational skills, finding out where the weaknesses might be and attempting to address them, whether it be academic, whether that be family specific, and all those other notes. And then also understanding the monetary aspects around it. Everybody wants to go to the NBA. Everybody wants to go to the NFL. Everybody wants to go play pro baseball. And a lot of people have talent. A lot of people have talent to get to that level, but how? A lot of people want to get scholarships. A lot of people want to go to college. A lot of people want to play college, but how? Nobody. When you get to that question, nobody has an answer, and we, based on experience, we provide solutions to people that come to us and solicit our services.
All right. Something you said just knocked a question in my head, and
Sure.
I don't know if something you discuss a lot. Physical attributes or an individual genetic makeup.
Yes.
What I have a lot of friends, and we will discuss. Okay. Origins of our makeup, the fact that we are a people, West African descent, and
Yes.
all that. How does genetics? Do you at any point discuss things like that? And I ask that only because something you said just shot that through my mind.
It's a great thing. It's a great question, and I thank you for asking that. What it is, and I just recently came back from Africa, and it's always good to be able to say from a genetic standpoint, but it's also a greater experience when you go there and you see what's there. One, understanding some of the culture. And I'm not any expert on the culture, of course. Like I said, I've just had a pilgrimage to see it, but knowing myself and finding myself, and finding the understanding of who we are and who we interact with as Caribbean people, as far as genetically, some of the customs, some of the practices, even just as far as down as the foods that kind of do certain things. Before this wasn't a thing. When I worked in professional sports, you ate what you ate, but you did what you did on your own. It was all natural. At a certain point in time, diet became a big thing. Also, your training regimen became a big thing, and then always your genetics, kind of became a bigger thing as you all go along. But it wasn't the focus. People didn't understand why Michael Jordan was who he was and how he came to perform, and Kobe Bryant and his work ethic. Those things were kept secret. But from a genetic standpoint now that we can see, there's trains that line up with where we came from and then who we are. So we discuss these with parents. We also identify these, of course, to know. Because it helps the individual know themselves, families know themselves, and it also kind of gears towards where the potential or most potential would kind of be. Example, case in point, to answer your question if I haven't already, that if you look at Africa, for instance, you see the distance runners in East Africa. That whole region, Uganda, Kenya,
Kenya,
that
exactly.
genetic
Yeah.
makeup is there. It's it's dominant there. You also have in West Africa, and in northern West Africa, more of the taller, and so on and so forth. And then in West Africa, Ghana, Togo, those types of things, having the physical endurance because of a warrior culture and a diet and a terrain that's eerily similar to the Bahamas and the Caribbean, most nations. So these things tie into something else because we don't go to war. No,
No,
not as
no,
much.
no, no.
But we do use that or go to war figuratively in the sense of sports.
It's only in the recent 2 decades, I would say, that I myself have come to understand the diversity of our genetic
Of
makeup
course,
and
of
what
course.
it is in Africa,
Yeah,
because they didn't teach us that in school.
right,
No, okay,
right.
we knew nothing about that. And within the last, like I say, 2 decades, especially since COVID, where one like myself have become more prone to reading and
Of
researching
course.
that sort of thing, you get to understand it. And it makes a whole lot of sense, even though it is slowly but surely becoming evident that plays a
Of
very
course.
crucial part. I know we
Of
are.
course.
Now, this program today that we're here talking, what would you want our young Bahamian athletes out there to take from this particular? How can you inform them? How can they improve their standing and understanding of all the things that you're involved in?
Firstly, three things, three main things. One is the perceptions on sports that are mythical. We kind of have to stamp those out. Some of those things, namely, is that there's not a career in sports outside of making the
Oh, I heard
NBA or
that.
making the NFL. You have hundreds, if not thousands, of Caribbean people involved in the administration of sports. What people don't know is youth sports, youth developmental sports avenues. If you don't make the NBA, you could still make the NBA with
And
proper education,
administration and all
administration.
that. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and those are goals. And even if not for that, you could also still be a part of the physiology of it, by a doctor, like medical sports, MRIs, those type of things that are health specific
Yeah.
relative. Because no matter what, you got to walk, you got to run, you're going to health, you're going to eat. The dietary things, certain things are not in place, but you still can be the best in your position or your best in your role relative to sports. Um, with that goal in mind, but using sports as a platform. That's the first thing. Secondly, the premise or the thought that there's not any money or there shouldn't be any money or there should not be any compensation for sports, that's not, first of all, that was never true. The New York Yankees that we just mentioned are an $8 billion or $10 billion business, and it's a privately held business that has a agreement with the state of New York to have naming rights, but it's a privately held. George Steinbrenner is the boss,
Yeah.
and he calls himself the boss, and they call him the boss because it's a privately held entity. And all sports is done stereotypically best through sports, through private entity. The Lakers is the Bus family. Stan Kroenke was the Washington Redskins or Commanders, whatever you want to call it. What's his name? The Tom Brady and those individuals. I forgot his name. Robert Kraft. Those are private entities that have got into sports and done some positives. So there's compensation in it, and they're all pretty hefty. Look them up. $1 billion entities, even WNBA, newer programs, newer organizations, unrivaled of leagues, Overtime, which is sponsored by Amazon and OTE and other places. There's monetary gains to be had, but there's also monetary investment. And that ties into my third point. The third point is anything that we're doing, that we're going to do, especially sports, and specifically sports, has to have some investment. And it's not something to blame the government for. I don't think it's optimum to ask a government to say to fund this and you take it serious and you benefit, but you don't give back. You don't do something back. It's not beneficial because when you get there, you say, "Hi, Mom. but you don't say hi, government. You know, you don't say hi, dad. You say hi, dad. You know, and you said your name's on the jersey. You know, not the country specifically of the professional organization, whether it be track and field, baseball, basketball, whatever it would be. You know, so there should be some investment by the individual. There should be investment by families. There should also be investment, you know, to the point of giving back and development of the next generation, and that's what we try to do. So those are just some of the rumors. How we help that is through consultations, I guess. Our number is open, our line is open. You
That's
can
what
reach
I'm
us.
gonna. How will you contact it?
The best way to reach us is through WhatsApp. The number is 1503-893-2584. Again, that's 1503-893-2584. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. You can look up the All Bahamian Brand, or you can look up AB2C Broadcasting.
Repeat that.
It's AB2C Broadcasting. On Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. We have quite the following. We're actually number one, thank God, as far as a sports-specific channel with in the Bahamas. Someone just told us that. We wasn't even paying attention to it. On YouTube as far as presence. But Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, we're all there. All access to the resources. So you can reach out, you can send a contact, shoot a WhatsApp message. That's usually the best way, or call us directly. Just schedule a consultation and let's talk about it. Let's see. You know, it's always benefit, and we enjoy the process of helping people go from one level to the next. And even if there's nothing else, get knowledge about what these questions they might have, or something to that effect.
Well, I want you to know that when I first heard about you, and the fact that you are Bahamian, that's always good, because your comfort level is then you have more security, because
Yes,
you're
sir.
dealing with someone you know and understand.
Yes, sir.
Even if you don't know them personally, you share a culture and you know
Yes,
that
sir.
sort of thing. So it's great for you to come here. Nice meeting you. I look forward that we could do this again, possibly. We're coming to the close of football and the beginning of basketball, and then very soon, by April, we'll be into baseball and all the other things. But track and field, that's my last question I'm going to ask you.
Sure.
Do you think there's an interesting article on Michael Johnson?
Yes.
I think it is.
Yes.
And they're saying that we are not maximizing that talent and that sport
Yeah.
to its full extent, and they think, as a matter of fact, that we might be losing the importance of what track and field was. I always thought Europe had embraced it a little bit more, perhaps, than Americans did. But give me your opinion about that before I let you go.
Well, my opinion on that is the Bahamas is, nobody ever truly fully maximizes. Everybody kind of has some opportunities that miss, whether that be in their personal life, you know, whatever case, sports. Nobody plays a perfect game. Even the pitcher that pitches a perfect game doesn't always pitch a perfect game, you know. So just want to put that out as the first thing. But on the concurrent point of that, or what your question was, there's always potential for more in every aspect, specifically track and other things. However, the Bahamas and the Caribbean are doing the best of the lot in the world. Of the 220 or 197 countries, however politically you want to go, they are doing the best. Bahamas specifically, but Jamaica specifically also as well. Dominican Republic, based on population. Haiti in their time and what things would be. So track and field specifically is something that it gets to a point of natural gifting and talents at certain points. You can do as much training. For example, West Germany back in the day, 1980s, had a program of calisthenics that was $1 million program that they'd pick the best athletes that were German specific and doing certain things, and then train them in the cutting art technology, and couldn't win a medal, couldn't even get to a final. And the Bahamas has one in the men's, one in the women's.
Yeah, was pissed off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Couldn't get one. And here's this guy comes out of nowhere and just blazes everybody, and it's always been that type of thing. So the Bahamas and the Caribbean are at the top of the heap, relative to the numbers of production, of actually being productive with what they do. Couldn't there be more done? I mean, everybody can do a lot more. This interview could be shorter or longer. I can probably say a better word. People, that's just how it is. People always want to think that. As far as USA track and field or Michael Johnson, some opinions are on both sides of the aisle about what his performance was and why it was. For those that know, but the Bahamas and the Caribbean are doing the best with what they have, what they're given, and there's always room for more. One final thing, I want to mention our brain trust here, which is you can go and pick a copy up. We have it in Logos bookstore. We also retail it online. It's a starting point. It's not the end all be all. You're not going to read this and go directly to the NBA or anything like that. But it's a starting point because the knowledge is the key point. You can go to Logos bookstore. It's called the Bahamian Basketball Yearbook. It starts off with that. We've been producing this since probably almost 20 years, definitely so. 20 plus years. We've been producing this for almost 20 years, yes, sir. To kind of get information about the basketball product. Funny story: a Division I coach now at Texas A&M. I was telling him, hey, the Bahamas have talent. The Caribbean has talent. You should go. He said, listen, man, I like you. You're cool. You don't have to give me any players. I like what you do here. I said, but no, we really, really got talent down there. He said, nah, man, if I come to the Bahamas, I'm coming for vacation. I don't need anything. I said, so one day after I keep asking him, he says, hey, do you have a book? Like you keep telling me about this. Who's the source on it? What's the source on this? Give me something in writing. And I said, yeah. That's a great idea that we should produce that book for you. And out came the Bahamian Basketball Yearbook. I've been blessed and fortunate to be around other countries and seeing the Caribbean and other things. And it spread to the Caribbean. So the Caribbean Hoops Digest is something about the history. What people don't know, the all-time leading scorers from Trinidad. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won Lou Alcindor.
Oh, yeah.
People don't also know the Bahamas has 2 number 1 draft picks. Like Germany doesn't have 2 number 1 draft picks. China got almost 2 billion people and have never had 2 number 1 draft picks. A country of 400,000 people has 2, and upwards of 20 or 15 pro players. Baseball, like you were talking about, baseball is coming back to a head. It's coming back beautifully. Shout out to JBLN and Mr. Burrows and whoever else it is, Mr. Fords and whoever else it was, Mr. Ambrister, that's done their part. But every sport is trending upwards, seemingly. Swimming, water polo, tennis. Tennis for whatever it's worth.
And
track and field, of course.
I understand that soccer.
Any
number of young people who are in college on soccer.
Correct.
Very good thing.
Football is American football. Got a kid at Ohio State. Got some guys. DeBrickashaw, Ferguson was with the Jets back, a few hours back. Somebody with the Cowboys. Mr. Dorsett was with also the Colts and stuff like that. So
I had a Smith.
Smith, yes, Geno Smith, yes. Smith, yeah. So it's we're doing the best with we're doing the best that most people. Somewhat doing the best what we can. But there's always more to go, and that's what we're here for. We try to give you the platform to start as a starting point with our publications, the Bahamian Basketball Yearbook and the Caribbean Hoops Digest. But also, we do consultations. If you have a question, you want to sit and talk, we give you a free 15-minute consultation. Write us, reach out to us. We'll talk with you. We have somebody online that's professional to answer some questions and, of course, see where you need the chart and help you get there.
Well, I want to thank you for being a guest on my show.
I thank you for the platform.
It was my pleasure to meet you, and I look forward to seeing you again. You do come to the home very often.
Oh, I love it.
Well, when you come and just drop in and say a word or two and let us get the word and keep the word. And I like the song say, keep the wives alive.
Keep the wife alive. Keep the wife. W-I-B, V-I-B, however you want to go with it.
Okay. So again, thank you for being a part of our show. Thank you for being here. I do wish you all of the success in your endeavors. And anything we can do to assist you, it will be our pleasure. Again, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Tony Bahama from AB2C, Broadcasting, Scouting and Media and Marketing Organization. They've been our guests this afternoon. I'm very, very impressed, and I do hope you take away from that a lot of information. If you, for some reason, did not write down that information, you can give me a call here. It would be my pleasure to give you his telephone number and the information on Instagram and Facebook. Again, Tony Bahama, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
I thought it went well.
I think it did too. Finish that up.